In this lesson, we're going to identify the addition properties of algebra. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at how you identify the addition properties of algebra. First of all, let's define the additive identity. The additive identity is the number 0 is the additive identity, meaning you can add 0 to any number and the number is going to remain the same. An additive inverse, the opposite of A is the additive inverse. It's when you're an inverse of something, when you add them together, it's going to cancel out and you're going to get 0. So let's go ahead and take a look then at these properties. The commutative property of addition. Well, the commutative property of addition, if you remember from last year, is where A plus B is equal to B plus A. What I've done here is I've changed the order. So commutative property, and when you commute, remember you're going back and forth from something, so you're looking at the changing order in which you're doing them. So I could have 5 plus 2 is going to be equal to 2 plus 5. In both cases, 5 plus 2 is equal to 7, and 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. All right, so let's take a look at the associative property of addition. The associative property of addition, when you think about when you associate yourself with a group, it's the grouping. So I'm just going to put here, it's the grouping. So for example, I could have A plus B plus C, and that's going to be equal to A plus B in parentheses plus C. I could have 2 plus 3 plus 4, and that's going to be equal to 2 plus 3 plus 4. In both cases, it's going to be equal to 9. All right, so the identity property. What the identity property means is that by adding 0 to any number, you're not going to change the identity. So let's go ahead and write that. By adding 0, you're not changing the identity. All right, so for example, I could have A plus 0, and that's going to be still equal to A. So I could have 4 plus 0, and that's going to be equal to 4. I did not change who it is. It started out with 4, and I still have 4. That did not change. Where the inverse property of addition, remember inverse means opposite. And so when you've got the inverse property of addition, you're taking the opposites, you're adding the opposites, and you're canceling them out. So I'm just going to underline this. So for example, what I'm going to have here is I've got A plus negative A is going to be equal to 0. So for example, 4 plus negative 4 is equal to 0. I just canceled those out by taking the opposite. So we should put here all right, so let's go ahead and try to identify the properties that are being illustrated. So I've got 15 plus 0 is equal to negative 15. Well, here I've added 0. I have not changed the identity. So this right here is the identity property of addition. There you go. All right, so our next one. 9 plus negative x is equal to negative x plus 9. Well, what I've done here is I've changed the order in which they've been added. And so remember order, if you remember back to the properties there, this is a commutative property of addition. All right. Our next one of 5.1 plus negative 5.1 is equal to 0. So what I've done here is I've canceled it out. I've got 0. the opposite. So this, remember, is the inverse. All right, our next one. 12 plus negative 17 is equal to negative 17 plus 12. Here again, I've changed the order in which I've just added them. So this is the commutative property of addition. All right, our next one. I've got 3 plus negative 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 plus negative 2 plus 1. Notice how right here, this is grouped together here, and right in here, these two are grouped together. I haven't changed the order of anything, but what I've done is I've changed the grouping of them. So this is going to be the associative property of addition. All right, and our last one, I have negative x plus x is equal to 0. And again, whenever you cancel something out, you've taken the inverse of it, the opposite of it. So this is the inverse property of addition. So in this lesson, we took a look at the different properties. We took a look at the identity property, the inverse property, the commutative property, and the associative properties of addition.